I'm ready to see a green flag in racing conditions, and we're about to get just that here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We're in Monterey, California for the final stop, the final race of 2020 for the Stock 1000s. As we prepare for this adventure, it will be a 14-lap event, the famous corkscrew, every turn, all 11 of them are famous here. And after you're done racing, you can go hit the turn 12 bar. I saw that yesterday, and I'm sure a few of these Stock 1000 riders are ready for this season to end. One guy is Cameron Peterson, who's going to be on the pole position. You see him there on that 45. Already won the championship back in Indianapolis. He's also trying to win a Superbike Cup race as well. Robbie Floyd with Roger Haderson. Did I say Cam Peterson, right?
Yeah.
I was like getting my cams confused between Beaubier and Peterson, but he's got a lot to prove, not only in this class where he's trying to win again, but he's also going to run in the Honda Superbike. This is a great warm-up for that race later on.
Yeah, definitely. After this race is over, all the pressure's off of him for Superstock. And then he can just focus on the 3 Superbike races. But this race he has to get through first, and I think Corey Alexander really closed the gap up on him yesterday toward the end of qualifying. And even in the last race, we've seen Travis Wyman, once the lights went out, he found a lot more speed. So it's going to be a tough race for him.
As we see Corey Alexander take off, this will be the final time they go before they will line up for their start. Looking at the championship standings as they go into this final round, and that 235 points is plenty to win the Stock 1000 championship. You can see Alexander, Wyman, they're going to finish in their position. Michael Gilbert's now riding the Honda Superbike class for the 80R team. But looking at Cam Peterson and winning that championship and the dominance in the Stock 1000, another thing you need to look at is where is he going to ride next year? What's he going to do? Maybe it's a Honda Superbike ride. And there's a lot of guys, have to be looking at him, because it's not that he was a surprise that he's up in front in Stock 1000s. It's how he's done it. It's been very convincing.
And definitely, I think his goal is to be in the Superbike class next year, and that's what he's shooting for.
A couple of factory rides to look for as well. Open spots as you find your favorite riders. We look through the field, the first 2 rows there. The 765, one to look for. George Mishliev. 765, been up front. Hadn't seen him this year, but he's been consistently up around that top 5 spot, whether it be practice or qualifying. Over 20 riders, I believe, in our field here in the Stock 1000s. The track about 2.2 miles in distance, more lefts than right, counterclockwise circulating track. Again, the elevation, the television cameras just don't do it justice. The front straightaway is even at an angle. You really don't have much of a break. That front straightaway might be it, but it's still going uphill, going into a downhill.
You can see as soon as you get to that bridge there, you're already starting to, it's pretty much a turn, you're starting to go left.
Then once you hit that left, you got a downhill left, a sharper left after all that speed as well. Altus Motorsports, they picked up Cam Peterson. He was running in the Honda Superbike class last year on the Omega team, and they had so many problems. But the times when his bike was running well, he was running well. He showed that he had the talent.
And we've seen this year showing his potential all year, being fast, and even when things at Road Atlanta wasn't going too well, he kept his head cool and did what he had to do and came back. And this last half of the season, he's been pretty much dominating the Superstock class.
As we mentioned just a moment ago, the Stock 1000, it will be a 14-lap race here about 12:30 local time. All eyes are on the pole sitter on that far right, but watch out for Travis Wyman, the near side. That BMW was really quick at Indianapolis. He didn't look as fast as he was in qualifying. When it came race time, he found something.
And all these guys are going to want to stay with Cam Peterson right off the start and not let him get away.
How about a good start for him? And there goes the power of that BMW on the inside, trying to get up into second.
Andy DeBrino with the good start up to second from the second row.
One of the West Coast guys, DeBrino, look for him, the number 62.
Danilo Lewis into third.
There's somebody on that far outside just trying to drive around in the actual turn 2. Looks like what would be typically a turn 1.
And not a good start for Corey Alexander, starting on the front row and falling back to fourth. And you can already see Cam Peterson's pulled out about a half a second before they've even got to turn 5.
7-time race winner in 2020 in the Stock 1000. The last race, it looked like it was won by Cam Peterson, but it was actually Travis Wyman was awarded that after a penalty to Peterson after the race between the 2 race days. 14-lap race, pretty long.
Yep.
You know, I mean, there's plenty of time to work it out if you didn't get that start. But the one thing is, you can't let that guy get away. I mean, and that's a pretty good advantage for a half a lap.
You can see Travis Wyman even has kind of lost a couple spots. He just got passed by Alex Dumas, who didn't qualify very well. So, I mean, I expect him to move up. You know, struggled a little bit yesterday with some stuff, and looks like he's getting that figured out because he's trying to latch on to this, you know, that battle for the podium.
Yeah, barely holding on to the top 2 rows is Alex Dumas. And there was a kid, an 18-year-old, that's really fighting for a championship at the start of this season, went down at the ridge and injured his elbow. Second place, there's Debrino. There's Corey Alexander, Danilo Lewis. I'd like to see Danilo Lewis, a Brazilian, on that yellow bike. I'd like to see him back up in the mix like we saw at the ridge.
Corey's moved his way into second now, but the thing is, on just that opening lap, Cam Peterson's already put out to a 2.2-second lead.
And it's Dumas that's just behind on his M4X-Star Suzuki as well. And that was, we saw patience out of Dumas at the start of this season and how he's able to pick guys off. Do you think that's kind of what he's looking at right now? He goes, okay, Cam's gone, but maybe I can get 2, 3. Just get somebody every couple of laps, just pick off someone.
Yeah, I think it was just like the run with, you know, Andy Debrino and Danilo Lewis and a couple of guys that's been a little bit faster than him throughout the weekend. And I think the most important thing for him coming back from that injury is just getting laps from the 1,000 and getting used to it.
Danilo Lewis trying to make a run going up that big hill. Danilo Lewis on the yellow bike trying to move into third and closing him down. Great job there. And Danilo says, I'm here. He's knocking on the door, but Debrino's been there, done that. He says, not this time.
And Danilo Lewis, I mean, he was trying to get on the podium at the Ridge, and that was the race where Andy Debrino was in position to get on the podium and crash. So it's good to see these two battling it out for that last podium spot. But they're going to have another rider to deal with pretty soon because Alex Dumas is getting catching right up to him. Getting racy, and then also Travis Wyman trying to build into that speed there. Lap number 3 of 14. Danilo Lewis, his best finish was at the Ridge this year, a 5th place finish. Currently in 4th right now. Dumas closed in, as you had mentioned. He's a racer. You know, he's one of those guys, every time he's moved up, he's, you know, won the championship in every class he's been in and struggled a little bit, even in other times this year, beginning of the season. But when the race came, he was always one of those guys that could step it up. International field, look at it. Cam Peterson from South Africa, Corey Alexander from New York. That's almost like its own country. Debrino, another North American. Danilo Lewis, Brazilian. Alex Dumas, Canadian. Danilo likes, he's trying a different line this time going up the hill, and he takes over position. Danilo Lewis, remember the one time we saw him on the outside, the inside worked for him. Yeah, he gets a good run out of 6 and just carries that momentum up into the corkscrew, and that's a difficult place to make a pass because it's hard to see as you come up over the crest. You have the confidence in that line, though. It's what, like you've talked about many times, is right here on the left of that last turn. Going up to that corkscrew, kind of the same thing. You put your bike in position, you can't turn left, right? Exactly. And you can see Travis Wyman also starting to catch these guys, too, for, you know, after that bad start he's got, trying to recover him. Coming down that frustrated one more time. Lap number 4 of 14. The advantage for Cam Peterson over 3 seconds in just 3 laps. His best time, a 26 flat, was about 4/10 better than Corey Alexander's. Debrino not wanting to give up for that podium spot. It would be exceptional if Danilo Lewis was able to finish on the podium, but you know Debrino wants to do that so badly. The 64 from Oregon, he's a West Coast guy, EDR Performance, Debrino Racing, Kawasaki ZX, but the international rider in Danilo Lewis, his first year in MotoAmerica, and I think he's planning on coming back next year. But, I mean, what a feather in your cap to do that at the last race of the season. I mean, this is it for them. Yeah, and for him, he's going faster than he has all weekend, and you can tell he's starting to kind of pull a little bit of a gap on Andy Debrino and Alex Dumas, who's going to have to, you know, when he catches up to Andy Debrino, he's going to have to make a move pretty quick because he doesn't want Danilo to, you know, keep getting a little further in front of him.
Another question is, what do you think about tires? I mean, conditions a little different today. It's a little more overcast. It's a little bit cooler. The one time we saw Lewis up in front, he couldn't hold on to it. Who knows? Maybe he ran out of tires at the ridge. I don't know the exact answer for that. Here, he's still a question until we get to the end of this race.
Yeah, but I think with the track temperatures warm enough where they're not going to have to worry about, any of the tire problems, especially only being a 14-lap race. And you can see now Cam Peterson getting into the 25s, actually. So he has his head down, and now with the 4-second lead.
Is he thinking about the Stock 1000 right now as he's on the track, or is he thinking about the Honda Superbike and actually putting in practice?
I would say he's thinking about just trying to get this race out of the way, and this is been the one he's had to focus on all year.
That's cool. I mean, the Brazilian contingent, we're watched around the world. I know both our television exposure and as well as the web presence has been increasing. When a lot of sports have been having a negative trend, we're actually increasing that. And he's got a lot of fans in Brazil probably checking him out right now. Very, very big into motorsports, the Brazilians are. They're watching on MotoAmerica Live Plus.
See Alex Dumas now. He's going to try to get a run on Andy DeBrino the same way Danilo Lewis did a couple laps before, and makes that. Andy DeBrino struggling a little bit in turn 6, getting that drive up the hill, and those guys are able to get a good run on him and make that pass before they get into the corkscrew.
Is that just a line thing? I mean, the way he's applying the throttle? Because we have seen it a couple times.
It could be a line thing, or maybe he's struggling getting into turn 6, and whatever it is, those guys are getting such a run on him up there. They're able to make the pass, and, you see Alex now, he's got his head, he's got his sight set on Danilo Lewis, and he's right there.
This is not what Lewis wanted to see, because I think Dumas kind of got that eye of the tiger. Now that he's back, getting healthier and healthier after having that elbow surgery, and Jason Pridmore probably also got in his ear and said, hey, don't go out there and do anything stupid. The championship's gone. Get that racecraft back going again.
I mean, that last lap, he was almost a half a second quicker than Lewis, and he actually had to make a pass. So, he just needs to work his way up there and try to make that pass. And Danilo Lewis hasn't really been in this position before where he's battling for a podium, and sometimes you can make mistakes whenever you're in a situation for the first time, where Alex Dumas has been in this position a lot.
Dumas, the champion 2 years ago in the Liqui Jr. Last year he moved up to the Twins Cup. He won that championship as well. The way this season started, we were wondering if Alex Dumas was going to win a Stock 1000, because literally his first race was a 7th, but then a 4th, a 3rd, a 2nd, another 2nd. And the big question was, when was he going to win one? And unfortunately, the Ridge took him out of that equation after going down in the first turn.
And even at the Ridge before that race and before that crash, he was fast, really fast.
Almost to the halfway point of this race. Travis Wyman just kind of sitting back there in 6th, not really making up any ground. I'm kind of surprised. We at the start, seeing him on the inside, that's kind of where he started when we were at Indy. But when it came race time, he found something. He said one adjustment made a big difference.
He's just kind of, a lot of these other guys seem to go in a little bit quicker in the race, where Travis Wyman's kind of been the same lap time that he's been all weekend.
Seen a little bit of different line from Lewis and Dumas there. Dumas carrying a lot more speed.
You can see out of this next turn 4, the previous lap, Danilo Lewis was starting to slide quite a bit. Right here, you can see the rear starting to move around a little bit.
So the tire, he pushed it a little too hard, too early, you think?
No, I think maybe just a little bit of the setup and just trying to get the power down where, Alex has been a little bit smoother.
That's definitely been his modus operandi. You think it's smooth. Alex Dumas definitely fits that bill. Now he's trying to get a good run. We've seen it many times on that outside, not necessarily work, but he's just setting him up.
Still a lot of laps to go, so he doesn't need to, push the issue too much. Because second's already too far ahead. Now his battle is just to win this little battle that he's in.
Yeah, you got to pick your battle. Corey Alexander, what, about 5 seconds in front of Danilo Lewis? So as they come down that front straightaway, it is a large margin, and Corey Alexander about a 5-second differential between himself and Cam Peterson, who's out in front. Danilo Lewis.
And Andy DeBrino now, fastest lap of the race for him, kind of closed up on these guys some.
Yeah, personal best sector 2 there. So maybe he's figured it out. And sector 2, isn't that the one he was having issues with? Yeah, sector 2 was where he was having a problem going up 2-6, right?
Yeah, out of
5. Going 2-6, it seemed like might have been
out
where
of
it's from.
6, out of 6 to 7.
So
he's strong on this first part of the track because you can see he's made up quite a bit.
see how much wiggle you had out of Lewis, maybe just a tiny bit out of Dumas and behind. I mean, it looked like DeBrino was hooked up. So even though it looks like they're 1, 2, and 3 on there, it looked like DeBrino was actually the smoother.
Out of this left here is where DeBrino's been struggling a little bit early in the race.
Going a little wider than both the others right there.
Alex got a.
It's hard to make that outside pass.
He got a good run. I mean, if you're going to make that pass, you have to fully commit. And he was this close last time, but for whatever reason, this last part of the track, Danilo can kind of pull away from Alex a little bit.
Do you have to do the rope-a-dope? Do you have to set up the outside and then dive to the inside? I mean, once you have position, I mean, you're dictating everything.
Just try to get a better run and be there, and make the pass happen.
Speaking of pass, DeBrino's the one looking to make a pass, isn't he?
He's really strong on this last part of the track.
That's the 62. We're talking about Andy DeBrino back there in 5th place on his Kawasaki.
Alex just struggles a lot with the wheelie. I mean, you just seen it out of that last corner there. I mean, he pretty much wheelied all the way to the start-finish line, and you can see how much Danilo Lewis has pulled away.
He can transfer that weight to the front, but he don't have much weight to transfer. Raj, he's a little skinny guy.
Yeah, and just seeing it again, another wheelie, and just kind of losing his drive a little bit.
That's where you said you thought Cam Peterson would have an issue riding with the Hono Superbikes, right? I mean, even
as much.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Alex gets a good run sometimes out of this corner.
Yes.
And he really closes up on the brakes.
A little bit of a wiggle there.
So this part of the track looks like this is Alex's, his strong part. So looks like his best chance of making a pass is maybe giving Danilo just a little run out of 5 into 6. But if you can give him a little bit of a room through 6 and just let his momentum carry a lot more speed up here. Now Alex has got himself on the inside of the. Just wasn't close enough that lap.
And a little bit of a change. I think Danilo might have actually guarded that inside just a little bit. You see Dumas with a little bit better run going down, and back there is DeBrino watching all of this go down. 2 riders in front. You can't wait too long. You only got 5 laps left. 4.5.
See, this is the part of the track where Alex just kind of struggles getting out of this last corner.
Danilo Lewis in 3rd place out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Procomps Racing Team. The BMW S1000RR, very fast bike too, so he's having to deal with that. The stock horsepower of the BMW is pretty darn strong, even though that GSXR just behind him, we know it's fast as well. A little bit of a hiccup in the Kawasaki of DeBrino back there, literally watching every single time. I'm surprised if he was slow, going into that 3rd sector. He hasn't picked up what those 2 guys are doing that were pulling away from him by now, at least.
Now the last lap through here, Alex got a good run out of turn 5 and tried to make the pass into 6. And I don't know if he was going to try that again or maybe just hang back just a little bit and try to let that momentum carry him through turn 6 and carry a lot more speed.
Going to 7. We'll see. He's back a little bit, gets back on it. A little bit different line to set him out. He's too much gap. That horsepower, I think, is helping on the BMW too, don't you?
In some parts, but the previous laps, Alex was a little bit quicker through there.
Carrying the speed. If we see Danilo without that, that horsepower wiggle and the back tire trying to break loose, we usually see him hold his own.
Yeah. And you'll see Alex closes up, on the brakes here, and it's just, you'll see when they show the camera from the front, he just has a struggle keeping the front wheel down.
There you go again. There's a couple of ways he could approach that, right? He could, kind of stay up in front. He could chop the throttle or, back off the throttle just a little bit. Or as you say, he could just get on that back brake just a little bit.
A little bit, but you have to can't kill too much of your speed. But he's a lot closer now than he has been a couple of the other laps. And
got to be frustrating if you're Dumas right now, but also the patience that he's known for could pay off for him because, again, you're not going to win unless somebody goes down. You're not going to get second unless somebody goes down. Your race is for 3rd because right here, Cam Peterson is 6 seconds quicker than Corey Alexander, the man who will finish 2nd to him in the national championship. He's already won his Stock 1000 championship at Indy. He's trying to win his second championship this weekend in the Superbike Cup, which he races the Stock 1000 against the Honda Superbikes. Still looking for that race for third. Should be coming across right about now. There you go. Danilo, Dumas, and Debrino. Danilo Lewis, that is, the Brazilian, the first rider in that picture on the yellow BMW. Alex Dumas, the Canadian, on that blue and white with red M4X Star Suzuki. Andy Debrino, the 62 Kawasaki EDR Performance Debrino Racing entry out of Oregon. 3 laps to go. Danilo holding his own. You know, we've seen Cooper McDonald, you know, qualifying well, and he's pumped. Can you imagine the Brazilian party we're going to have if he podiums? This has been a heck of a ride by
Danilo Lewis. I mean, every lap has been, you know, these last couple laps, he's got back into the 27s and, you know, just being consistent. That's why he's pulled away a little bit.
He's trying to put that power down, and that BMW was still able to hold on there. And you say it may just be a setup thing, though, but I mean, he's trying to put all of that horsepower to the track, and he's got about 2.5 laps to prove himself that he can get his first podium in MotoAmerica. And like I said, it's free for everybody if he wins. Brahma beers are going to be passed out. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good time because those Brazilians know how to have fun. Canadian behind him, the 18-year-old Alex Dumas riding. Still injured, but having that surgery to repair an elbow. He's almost back to full strength, but he's just a lightweight guy, and he's having a hard time keeping that Suzuki power to the ground. Danilo with a little bit of separation going down the corkscrew.
And he also kind of looks like he struggles a little bit, maybe changing directions, getting the bike coming down the corkscrew from the left to the right.
Is that because the front end's light as well?
I don't know if it's light or just, you know, being a smaller guy possibly.
The strength of being able to turn it in. Next time around, they're going to get the white flag. I mean, what do you think, Danilo? Oh, man, another, you know, power wheelie out of Dumas. Danilo Lewis has been holding him off every single lap. Can he do it one more time?
Well, there's a couple.
2 more laps.
And there's also, they're going to come up into lap traffic as well, so that could also, you know, play a part in it.
2 more laps to go. Is one more after Peterson had gone.
You can see Alex pushing. You see that?
Yeah. I mean, it's now or never, right?
Yep.
I mean,
he's running out. He's got a lap and a half left to make it happen.
I think it's going to 7. That seems to be his best shot, and go to the inside. You got one guy in front, the 999 of Josh Gerardo out of Indiana. Hope he doesn't play a factor. Ooh.
Danilo will get by him for
Danilo's
sure.
going to do it. Ooh. Now does Dumas. Dumas does it. Oh, that could be huge. That could be huge for Danilo Lewis. As you see the bumps for Cam Peterson and that Haggerty Altus Motorsports Suzuki as he heads into that final turn one more time. White flag is out. The last lap of the Stock 1000 race. The final race of 2020 for the Stockers. And he has about a 4-second advantage. There's the race for third because you have Corey Alexander just in front of this trio. And that's exactly what Danilo Lewis needed. And Alex fights again to keep that Suzuki on the ground.
He's just really fighting it.
Every time, man, he's lifted that front wheel, at least that high. And you know what? Debrino's doing it right behind him, too.
But you can see how much Danilo Lewis pulls away off that. You know, he doesn't, you know, not really doing any wheelies and just gaps him off those corners where the front end gets light.
Danilo Lewis working his way through the lap traffic perfectly right now.
Hopefully he doesn't make a mistake thinking that
he's got to push too crazy. I would take one. Where's you going to look over? Where's that look over? Look at the Brazilians. Like, come on, one more lap, half a lap.
Now they wish there was communication so they could tell him, hey, you know, you got a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, you got a second. You got a second and a half. I mean, do you peek, Roger? Are you a guy that wants to look behind? No.
No, focus on what's ahead.
And you know what? Looking ahead, there's also 2 riders. I don't know if it's going to be a factor, but Cam Peterson's about to take the checkered flag here pretty soon. And that's going to slow him down. I mean, it's going to be Dumas here at the very end.
But also, I mean, just hopefully he doesn't make a mistake trying to force the issue too much.
Yes, as we see Cam Peterson come down that front straightaway for the final time. And Cam Peterson, the national champ, he's still got 3 more races to go this weekend, but he caps it off with a victory at the final stop of 2020. Cam Peterson is your winner at Laguna Seca. Second's going to go to Corey Alexander. And look at this. In third, one more turn to go. Coming down that front straightaway. He's staying in the tuck. He's not looking back. It is Danilo Lewis from Brazil taking the podium spot in third place. Wow, our cameraman Marcio is probably just as happy for him down there. He's probably the one doing the shot.
That's what it's all about right there.
Marcio's from Brazil as well. He spends a lot of time in that camp, and I promise you that third place probably feels better than that win for Cam
definitely.
Peterson. And look at Alex Dumont. That's what kind of rider he is. That's why every one of those guys really respect him for what he is. He didn't do anything stupid. He didn't do anything crazy. He gave it his all, and it just wasn't good enough today to get by Danilo Lewis.
I mean, look at him.
His tears are about to come out of his eyes. Great day for Brazil. I mean, honestly, you're doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for your country. Look at him. You can see it. It gave me goosebumps. What a run. Dumont's going to finish fourth, Debrino fifth, Travis Wyman across sixth, Mishlaev in seventh, Ferreira in eighth, Easy at your Zaragoza finishing in ninth, and Saharsvik from Israel in 10th. So an Israeli in the top 10 as well. And I say it each week. I mean, this is a international field. You had 4 different countries represented in your top 4 positions.
Look, everybody's happy for Danilo Lewis.
He's a Quicksilver fan. Did you see him do the heart? Yeah, I was talking with Marcio last night, and speaking with him, I said, how's his English? He's doing. He said he's getting better. You need to. There's the South African flag for the national champ. Where is he going to be in 2021? Dominating. He won by 2 seconds over Corey Alexander, but I think he can kind of manage that lead, right?
Yeah, the last 2 laps, he just kind of, just slowed down.
There's the bike he's going to have to ride here again in a little bit in the Honda Superbike, and he's going to have to ride it 2 more times tomorrow in racing conditions.
There's his fiance there waiting. Looks like they got a special helmet waiting on him.
Don't blow it up, Cam. The engine builder's going, no, no, no.
Gold championship helmet. His fiance there, his sister there.
Gonna have a ride number 1 coming across there. Sweet lid. Trying to look at a Troy Lee design. Did he get a Troy Lee helmet for winning the championship? Nice.
Troy paints his other helmet too.
TLD. I'm happy for Cam Peterson, and again, he just kept racking off kept clicking off those victories after finishing second at 2 of the first 3 rounds.
This is why he slowed down the last couple laps. He had to make sure he had this celebration planned out. He had to make sure he made it to the party.
The championship bib as well. I think they get to do a trophy presentation today as well. Altus Motorsports, Hagerty. I don't know what his deal was, but, you look at this celebration, you see him 2 different kinds, one for the victory and just as important, that one for third place for Danilo Lewis. Happy for him. Congratulations, brother. Yeah. And with Cam Peterson, I don't know what kind of deal he had, but Altus Motorsports got a heck of a lot of bang for their buck.
Oh, definitely. I think they knew he was going to be good, and hopefully the plan was probably to be in a championship hunt, win a couple races. I don't think they expected to come in here and dominate the season the way they have.
No doubt. He didn't take any points. The 4th stop this year at Atlanta. Remember, he having some mechanical difficulties.
He's got
other than that,
his,
like a banner.
The flag. I think he's got his flag.
Oh,
in his sprocket.
You had better watch out. You don't want that thing to snatch you off the bike too. Now, don't get it in there with the bearings. All this celebration could go wrong really quick if they don't notice some of that. And the salute by the flaggers, the 7 flag salute. Don't want to see half of those. Don't want to see 3/4 of those. Green is good. Blue's sometimes good too, you know, and letting them know that you're coming through and watch out. He has no idea. He's like, what is going on here? That right lid looks good. It looks good with that number 1 on it, doesn't it?
Anything with the number 1 looks good on it.
I say he's got to rock that during the Honda Superbike. What do you think? I mean, he's still going to be number 45, but I would let everybody know that's the national champ that's on that bike. And again, he'll have, with it being 3 races this weekend, they're still making up for the non-race at Circuit of the Americas. So just like at Indianapolis, there'll be 1 race on day 2 and 2 races on day 3. Everybody else already in that winner's circle. Cam Peterson, Corey Alexander, Danilo Lewis, your race winners. He said, I'm sorry, guys, you got some work to do. And, yeah, look at him. He's talking about it pulling off. It could have literally snatched him off of the bike, and it gets caught up in the sprocket like that. And you haven't seen that since the banner days, you know, in motocross. That was gets in there, gets in the brakes.
Hey, you did it.
And after that DNF at Atlanta, it's been a perfect season. I mean, he got docked 1 position or a time penalty, which actually cost him the race win at Indianapolis. But other than that, it's been a perfect
He's dominated.
season. Yeah.
Last half of the season.
I feel happy. You know, we haven't mentioned his name much in this race. He kind of a lone race in second. But Corey Alexander looked good today. I was glad to see him finish in second. And, you know, when you said he didn't get that good start, I'm like, oh, no.
And a strong season for him. You know, second. Last year he didn't do the full season, back racing full-time this year.
2-time winner.
Yeah, I mean, learned a lot, and I think if he comes back next year, he's going to be, you know, a contender for the whole season for the title in Superstock.
Peterson, as well as Alexander and Travis Wyman, your 3 winners in 2020 in the Stock 1000. Well, you see him. He's got that championship helmet. He's got the bib. He's all hooked up, and he's got another win on the year, Jamie.
And it's the 8th win of the season for Cameron Peterson. You see all of his new gear that you're able to collect. In a season win, you admittedly had to take a step back, recenter yourself to end it on a victory on this high note. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, this is everything. You know, I've been working for this my whole life, and yeah, to be able to just win again, it's such a good feeling, you know. And like you said, it wasn't really a step back, but I just wanted to find myself a little bit, and it's been a great season, you know. But I've got so many people I need to thank, you know. I'm not going to be able to thank them all, but first of all, my team, you know, thank you so much for just giving me a machine that works every single weekend and believing in me and just making the vibes and everything good. Josh Hayes and Melissa Paris Hayes, you guys are amazing. You know, having them in my corners, it's changed my life, and I can't thank them enough. My mom and my dad and my sister, their sacrifice that they made for me is pretty special, and we finally did it. You know, it's worth it. The M4 X-Star Suzuki team as well, you know, they've played a big role in my success this year, so a massive shout out to them. MotoAmerica as well, you know, you guys, I can't thank you enough for putting on a series like this, and I'm just excited to keep growing and keep coming back and see if I can win a Superbike championship one of these years.
It's certainly a team effort. Congratulations on the job well done. Our champion and race winner, Cameron Peterson.
It's something we will see him in, I'm quite sure, in Honda Superbike, but you can only do what you can do, and in Stock 1000, he had some dominance in this year, winning his 8th race. Let's go back down to Jamie.
For Corey Alexander, it's the 9th podium of the 2020 season. Certainly carried some momentum here at the end of the year. How will this help you as you go into the off season?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, like you said, 9 podiums this year is really the best we could ask for. Obviously, Cam's been on fire, so the only guy that we've had to beat is won every other race. So it's been difficult in that aspect, but otherwise, you know, really happy with our year overall, and I think it'll just help us put together a good program for next year, hopefully. And have to give a big hats off to all my guys, DJ, Chris, Richie, my whole family at home, everybody at Hudson Valley Motorcycles, the dealership, everybody at Graves for helping us this week, Chuck Graves, Alpine Star Leathers, the Rye helmets, just everybody at Iconic Motorbike Auctions, New Rage Cycles. We had a lot of help this year to get to every single race. It wasn't easy, and between my uncle and myself, we do it all ourselves. You know, I drive the truck everywhere and put together all the sponsorship stuff. So it's there's a lot behind the scenes. Otherwise, that was just as rewarding as what we did on the track. So thanks everybody, and we'll be back hopefully for some good racing in Superbike.
It's Corey Alexander, second in the championship, second on the track today.
Solid run for him. Ride HVMC, number 23, Corey Alexander. And again, he is a two-time winner in MotoAmerica in 2020. And one of the only guys to really put the pressure on Cameron Peterson, Raj. But Jamie, I don't know how your Portuguese is, but I know how to party. And I'm quite sure there's going to be a party in the pits tonight.
The celebration hasn't stopped since the checkered flag fell. You can hear him still down in victory lane. Danilo Lewis, your first MotoAmerica podium. What was the key in the race this weekend?
Qual foi seu primeiro pódio na MotoAmerica? Quer saber qual foi a chave para chegar no pódio?
Sim, a temporada toda dando o meu máximo, me esforçando ao máximo, me dedicando ao máximo e sempre batia na trave. O mais próximo que eu consegui foi o quinto, mas hoje o sonho foi realizado, foi na última, mas aconteceu e só tenho a agradecer a Deus, ao Sassá que trouxe toda a infraestrutura dele, o Magrão, o Pita, o Carlão, o Rodrigão, meu irmão aqui, Rafa, e meu pai também, que, nossa, ele que fez tudo acontecer. Ele, nossa, só tenho a agradecer a todos os familiares e todo mundo que estava no Brasil na torcida.
All right, so it's been building up the whole season. We've been getting closer and closer. Got to 5th place, just missed the goal of hitting the podium. But this time everything came together. It's a dream come true for him. We want to thank all the friends that brought all the trailer to help us out. I've been helping out with the mechanics, thank the whole family, his dad, which is his mechanic, and all the fans that came to all the races and support us.
So congratulations, Danilo Lewis. What a finish for him to cap off his season. All those people to help get him to this point. And nobody can celebrate quite like the Brazilians.
And that's what it's all about right there, when all the sacrifice and everything you gave up your whole life and you achieve a goal. You know, work forever to get it and give up a lot to make it happen.
And even he reflected on just how close he was with that 5th place at the Ridge. But 5th is one thing, a podium is another. Next up, he's looking for that win in MotoAmerica. Stick with us. We've got some racing, some heritage racing coming up here next on MotoAmerica Live Plus.